Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Married with Baby Cat podcast. We have a very special podcast today. We're going to have some special guests joining us later. But we're going to start off, we talked about last week the Ghost Live album. We didn't know when it was quite coming out
and
when we released last podcast, and then it came out about 2 days after we did our podcast. So it's out now, came out Friday digitally. Right, it's coming out physically later.
In January 19th or something, it comes out physically.
Pretty cool. I got a chance to listen to it. Did you listen to it, Melissa?
Yes, I did.
It's pretty awesome. A bunch of live stuff. I mean, it's all their same songs that they've always been doing, just live now.
Maybe they do it in like San Francisco or something. It's good. The problem with the live albums I have is like once I listen to them, then of course I want to go see the band, and they're not going to be touring until May, so...
Right, they're going to be in Philadelphia for the WMR barbecue.
Yep.
So we hopefully can see them there.
We are going.
House and Chains, which would be pretty cool.
We are going.
Yeah, we definitely want to go to that.
It's going to be awesome.
But we've seen them live a bunch of times, so to us it was just, nothing really new.
Yeah, it's hard without the visual.
It is. I mean, a big part of their thing is the visual stuff.
Yeah.
So just hearing musically and hearing the crowd, and it's not quite the same as when you see him in his outfit and them running around and all the smoke and fire and all the stuff they have.
It's good, though. You should check it out.
We'll probably talk about it a little bit more. Maybe bring in some
expert
ghost special guests later on. But we just wanted to let everyone know that when we released our podcast, at the time we didn't know there was supposed to be a release of this live album, and then they surprised released it a day later. So just let everyone know it's out now. So we want to move to the Eagles because a big thing happened in sports.
Yep.
We're going to bring in one of our special guests right now.
Travesty.
We're going to bring in the Danimal, fellow Eagles fan with you. Say hello to the world, Danimal.
Hello.
Yep, that's him. He's kind of weird, but, we brought him in. So, Dan, what's your feelings on Carson Wentz going down? How do you feel about this?
Well, first, for the viewers out there that can't see me, I'm going to explain what I look like. I'm like a majestic beast, so just so you guys know,
Wearing all Eagles gear.
Yeah, of course, like always.
Yeah, Eagles regalia. He's here. He is a majestic beast.
Well, Carson being out, I still think we have a chance. I don't know how far we'll get in the Super Bowl, but hopefully we'll at least make it to it. But, no, I saw faith in the team, so I'll continue to go forward, see what happens, I guess.
I think the season is done. I think midnight has hit on this Cinderella. So
well, we still got to go up against the Giants, so we'll crush them, of course.
Yep.
Then we got
some good practice games coming up.
Yeah.
So the Giants will be a good practice game.
The Raiders, they suck, so we'll destroy them.
So that'll be another good practice game for Foles. And then the real challenge will be Dallas. That'll be, I guess, like his real test.
Well, I think I was saying to Danimal earlier, I think the real test is going to be what you guys do against the Giants, because it's the first game with Nick Foles. If you guys come out and beat the Giants, okay, we'll see. Take it from there. If somehow the Giants come out and beat you guys, or the Eagles just seem in disarray, then I would start worrying if I was you guys.
No, I actually disagree with that, because now they have a new quarterback. So, like I said, it's going to almost be like a practice game. So they're going to be sitting there figuring out new moves, what they're supposed to do, how Nick Foles throws. So I think even if the Eagles lose that game, I'm not going to be as upset, because I think the next two are going to be like practice games for them just to get their groove on. Hopefully by the time they get to Dallas, they'll be good, and then by the playoffs, hopefully they've worked out all the kinks, and it'll be phenomenal, and they'll go to the Super Bowl and win, and it'll be great.
Is there any team that scares you, Danimal, on the route to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, all of them. And with Foles, you never know where you're going to get, but I got confidence in him. I think we'll see what he can do. Definitely the next couple games we'll see against the Cowboys, stuff like that. So
could be a possible rematch against the Seahawks coming up in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they beat you guys pretty handily. Are you scared of them? You think you can take them the second time?
We were fighting them at home, so I mean, Seahawks are always tough to beat at home anyway, and they're a tough team. So I wasn't too sure how we would do against them. So I don't know what to see. We still got a lot of other teams to go up against that are really good. So it's scary.
I think Cowboy Matt's feeling pretty confident right now with his Seahawks.
No.
Against you guys at the quarterback. Carson Wentz went down. Well,
there was in Philadelphia, they did a breaking news, and it was like one of the breaking news, like if the president was coming on when they announced Carson Wentz's injury. Like they stopped all TV programs just so they could talk about Carson Wentz.
Well, he's like
That's how much of a big deal this is in Philadelphia.
He's like the new Rocky, I guess, right? Of Philadelphia. The new hometown hero.
Yeah, he's kind of is. I mean, everybody loves him. Supposedly our quarterback, or Donovan, is now allegedly accused of sexual harassment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's kind of gross, some of the stuff that he was saying. Like he was texting some woman.
That Donovan McNabb.
I know. McMillian Ab that ruined it.
I never could stand that guy.
It was good. It's just a shame he went out the night before the biggest day of his career, you know.
No.
Yeah, we did pretty good against the Patriots. I mean,
They cheated that too.
I didn't think we would even come anywhere close to, almost beating them or even making it that far. So that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a potential rematch. I mean, when Carson Wentz was still around, I really thought it was going to be probably Eagles-Patriots in the Super Bowl again. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, of course, unpredictability of a second quarterback. But I really thought it was going to be the rematch of that with those two teams again.
Well, we'll see.
Hopefully no Patriots. That's all I care about.
I don't know who's going to stop them.
I know.
No. Dolphins are bad. I was going to say the Dolphins will stop them.
The Dolphins always give the Patriots... They beat them last night, but they always beat them in Miami. I don't know, for whatever reason, the Patriots cannot win in Miami ever, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's too hot.
Maybe. The Giants lost again, which for me is good. That's what I want. The more they lose and these other crappy teams win.
Let's rephrase. They lost horribly.
That's fine.
I always want them to lose too.
I mean, if there was one game I wanted them to win this year, it was against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
but,
I wanted them to win against the Cowboys too, but it was bad. I actually thought they would win this one, and they messed it up in the fourth quarter, really bad.
But we're solidifying that number 2 pick in the drafts now. So
well,
get somebody really good.
You're gonna need it because man,
maybe we can draft the next Carson Wentz.
Trade
He was number 2 pick.
Trade off Beckham. That's what they're going to do.
That's not going to happen.
They're going to get rid of him.
That is not going to happen. Danimal speaks nonsense over here.
They're going to trade him to Patriots.
I'm officially going to kick him off the podcast now. He's not going to be allowed on ever again when he talks like this. So we'll see what happens with the Eagles for the rest of the year. It's going to be interesting, definitely interesting to see how they go. They're going to really have to rely on the defense now, which has kind of been a letdown in the last couple of weeks. But the defense needs to step it up now with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, and so does the offense.
We'll see if Melissa will be doing her Super Bowl party. I don't think so. I don't think there's
my whole Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an Eagles Super Bowl party.
I think so.
We can still have an Eagles Super Bowl party. They just won't be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like what we normally do every year. We just put up green streamers. And
play a game of Madden. Just pretend.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
Have cheesesteak dip.
And I'll make sure.
It's technically a Philadelphia party. We just,
I'll make sure to end Carson Wentz's career in that Madden game. I'll tack his knee.
By the way, the Rams are my new hated team. I don't like them anymore.
Because they hurt him, injured him. Yeah, makes sense.
I don't like them anymore. So
definitely makes a lot of sense.
Boo Rams.
Just pissed off all the Rams fans now.
That's fine.
Yep, the two Rams fans.
They've all tuned out. That's it.
Yeah,
fine.
All the fake.
I don't like them anymore.
All the fake Rams fans in LA are tuned out now. So we're going to bring in our second special guest of the night from another podcast, which I definitely suggest you listen to. It's good stuff. They talk about a lot of pop culture things, and they revisit movies and video games, and cartoons, and they kind of make them better, in my opinion. From the Precarious Pixels, also on iTunes, Spreaker.com. You can get them a couple different places. I believe they're on Instagram and everything too, as well. This is Bob-o Cop. He's going to come join in the conversation here with me, Melissa, and Danimal. Danimal and Bob-o Cop, big movie experts, my kind of go-to movie guys when I need some movie knowledge. So this is going to be a very movie-heavy podcast. We're going to talk directors, actors, overrated, underrated, favorites. Best movies of 2017, possibly. So let's bring in Bob-o Cop. Say hi, Bobo.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm waving.
He's waving. If you have listened to Precarious Pixels, you recognize that sexy voice.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's genetic. It's tough to come out from the shadow of the Magnificent Beast.
It is. I know. It's hard act to follow the Magnificent Beast and his Eagles regalia here, but we're just going to have to manage. We're going to talk our 3 favorite directors. We'll start off with Bob-o Cop. Bob-o Cop, give us one of your favorite directors. growing up, I know movies are a big part of your growing up in your life still. I know you go to the movies a lot. Who's one of your favorite directors you want to start talking about?
Well, I would say right now, Denis Villeneuve, who's the guy who directed Prisoners, Sicario, and his big new one was Blade Runner 2049.
I loved Prisoners. It was really good. Sicario I still haven't seen. People have told me I should. I know it's good. And then Blade Runner was great.
Yeah.
I know you talked about that on your podcast and stuff.
He's very versatile. But he's a talented guy. He's gone from drama to action to crazy sci-fi and then just straight up sci-fi drama. But all around the world so far, I don't know if he's ever going to do like a comedy, but if he does, it'd probably be pretty solid.
I mean, it's like kind of the one genre he's kind of hasn't done yet, right?
So far,
I guess.
rom-coms.
Yeah. Rom-com's the next one for him.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a super strong message and intense rom-com.
Yep, it's going to be 3 hours.
That's awesome.
Have a lot of bass to the music.
I can only watch that
Oh
kind of
my
rom-com.
gosh.
Yeah, that Blade Runner.
That's all there was bass.
It's the one thing that kind of drove me nuts in that movie.
Yeah, it was
Just
a great movie.
That
but
loud
phew.
bass.
Yeah, it's all about that.
So Dan, who's the director you'd like to call out as one of your favorites
out.
so far?
I have so many I like, but obviously my favorite is probably Stanley Kubrick, which is probably a lot of people's. I
Yeah,
mean,
you took mine.
I mean, I just grew up watching a lot of his movies, like The Shining, Clockwork Orange. You know, there's all the classics, his style and filming. I just always liked this stuff. He always picked like these great actors and directed them very well. Apparently, he was very strict, very perfectionist, so you can tell that in his films.
I was always a huge fan of Stanley Kubrick, and he's one of mine. If I had to go to one of my top three, he's in there as well. And I think you could have a whole podcast just on Stanley Kubrick. What's your feelings on Stanley Kubrick? Bob-o Cop, were you a fan? Not really a fan of his movies?
Stanley Kubrick, I'm divisive when it comes to his stuff.
Okay.
So, I'm a huge fan of The Shining and the first half of Full Metal Jacket, phenomenal. But there's some I just don't like Eyes Wide Shut. His stuff near the end, it was just really, really rough. Even AI, which he had started before he died, and then Steven Spielberg took over. That was a travesty.
Yeah,
And you could tell it was
Dan's
a
favorite movie.
Oh my god!
You could tell it was a Kubrick as well.
And
Yes,
my
you did.
favorite, and by favorite I mean not really favorite.
I was gonna say because that's so far outside of Steven Spielberg's wheelhouse. It's ridiculous.
Right, I mean, it was so weird and out there. So, Danimal, what is your favorite Kubrick if you had to narrow it down to one?
Clockwork Orange, by far. It's probably one of my favorite movies. Just love it. Malcolm McDowell is awesome in that movie. Just a classic. I mean, it followed the book pretty well. They did take a lot of liberties, but I think he made it better because I have read the book. It's a very tough read because it's all in like a special language that he kind of like made up when he's talking about his droogs and all that. But it was, I just really liked it. I thought he filmed it extremely well. The music's perfect for it. A lot of meaning to it. Just probably one of my favorite movies.
Appearance by Darth Vader in it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
David Prowse
Mm-hmm.
plays the...
Picks up the hand that the writer.
Yeah, he's the weird guy, the big guy who carries around the weird
Has a
writer
bigger
guy.
part
Yeah.
in the book, but they really don't give it too much in the movie.
What's one of his that you really can't stand? Is there one? I mean, AI, I know we just kind of went over, but is there another one that's kind of... You thought he made a mistake, or...
I actually am not a fan of 2001: A Space Odyssey, although like I understand why it's such an important movie in film history, but I just thought it was very drawn out and kind of boring. Although a lot of people could say that about The Shining and a couple of his other movies, but and it just really didn't do it for me. Like if it was on TV or even if I had it in my collection, I wouldn't just go back and watch it because it's just too drawn out. I mean, the scenes with Hal and stuff like that are really awesome, but I get what it's supposed to be, but you know, I can't just watch it. You know, I actually kind of like Eyes Wide Shut, but that's Barry London, a couple other ones he's done I like, but that's my weakest, I think.
Yes.
I agree with Dan on that. I was never a fan of Space Odyssey 2000, and I love Star Wars, but it was just like a lot of, you know, looking at the ships, which back then it was huge and visually just great. It's just not one of my favorites either.
I seem to be the only Kubrick fan that actually likes 2001: Space Odyssey.